Welcome to Storytime. I'm your host and author, Cherie Baker. Today we'll be reading from Coffee Cakes and Dragon Eggs, a cozy fantasy set in modern-day England. Enjoy! Chapter 18. Raj followed Miss Shepherd into the large reception room with 12-foot-high ceilings. Carved wood outlined every window, and an elaborate chandelier full of cut glass prisms hung off a decorative rosette in the center of the ceiling. Two large arches led off the central space. One shrouded in shadow, the other had been fitted with a door. It didn't quite match the rest of the room. No point in heating the whole cadaverous space if you didn't want to, though. Wow! Raj had expected an interior to be very utilitarian. Precisely. That is what my papa wanted our customers to say, and it worked. Shepherd Mill even had a royal charter back in the day. Violet brushed a loving hand over an imposing mahogany desk just inside the door. An ancient brass cash register with little keys and a glass display showing the price sat there. Raj toyed with the idea of a sleek, stainless steel coffee machine there instead. Before he could decide which would look better, Violet marched through the large archway on the right side of the fancy reception and flung open a set of patchwork curtains set over a trio of tall, thin windows. Raj hurried to catch up as she moved on to the next set of curtains. "This used to be the spinning room. Got one of our Jennies over there still." She pointed to a complicated collection of wooden wheels and spindles gathering dust along one side of the room. "Grandpa Shepherd tried to adopt new innovations, but he never liked the feel of those machine-made cloth. Said it had no personality. Somehow, his charisma charmed everyone to get their wallets out and pay more. Homemade traditional wool. Sadly, my father, brother, I didn't inherit that luck. We do what we can. Some money's better than no money." A comfortable feeling, like a well-worn cardigan, settled over Raj. "Are there any guidebooks about this area? You should try to get listed in one. They would really increase your footfall. This cafe is a delightful discovery." Raj shook himself. What was he doing? He just needed to get inside so he could find that Fremlin, not fix Miss Shepherd's money problems. "Excellent idea. May I call you Raj?" He twitched in surprise. It'd been a long time since anyone had asked him what he wanted to be called. I don't see why not. "And feel free to refer to me as Violet. We're going to be working together. No reason to stand on formality, since I'm not good with those computery things. Can you check out that guidebook idea?" "Sure, I'll get on it tomorrow," guilt nibbled Raj. He shouldn't lead Violet on. He only came in here to look around. "Would you mind if I explored a bit? Perhaps go downstairs? Get a feel for the place before I contact the guidebooks." "We could do with some tablecloths." Violet nodded at several mismatched tables and chairs shoved in one corner. "Those will be much more inviting with a cover of some sort." She marched to the dim hall at the back of the reception. A large glass-fronted refrigerator resided under a narrow set of worn stairs leading to the upper floors. A matching set disappeared into the gloom. She patted the railing that led up. "Have a look around the weaving room. There should be some fabrics up there. I can sew us up a few covers in no time." Raj couldn't believe his luck. Violet had just given him free rein to explore the entire place. Maybe his magic was working, albeit slowly. At the top of the stairs, Raj found an enormous space, twice as big as the cafe. It spanned the entire length of the building, but it felt more chaotic. The wooden looms had been cannibalized to make improvised shelves. Those filled all the walls and covered most of the windows. They seemed to be tied with twine, and they looked quite rickety. Next to the stairs was an iron ladder bolted to the stone with a trap door above. The ladder looked most likely to be the clock tower. The imp might be up there still, but more likely it was in this room, since there was a coffee mug. and a little plate with crumbs by the fireplace. Violet couldn't climb the stairs, and the rest of the mill looked abandoned, so who else would bring a snack up here? Raj built up a power base by counting twos until his fingers tingled. Then he held out his ruby ring, sniffing for magic, and he walked the perimeter. Despite Violet's instruction, there was no sign of fabric. All the shelves were filled with garbage, like rusty paint cans and old shoes. But the bulk of the assortment were tattered books. Those were all neatly arranged by color, with no reference to genre, author, or title. Oddly, the bloodhound carving indicated some of the books had magic, but it didn't find anything else. Raj slumped. Although this seemed the perfect place for a Fremlin prank, his magic sniffer didn't agree. He went back to the ladder. The simple rungs mocked him. He'd fainted when he'd gone to the top of the Shard in London, and that was inside an elevator. But the Fremlin had to be up there. He'd have to climb it. It wasn't far, just 10 feet. His palms broke into a sweat. If he slipped and fell, he could roll all the way to the basement in one swoop, probably break his neck. Stop. That negative thinking wasn't going to get him his promotion. He gripped the first rung and tested it. The solid iron remained firmly attached to the stone. No excuse there. He set one foot on the ladder. When he got halfway up, he stretched his ring as far as it could go. It was only a few inches from the trap door, but it didn't even flicker. The creature wasn't here. Raj lowered himself back to the workshop floor, wiped his palms on his trouser. It must be in the basement. If he was quick, he might be able to go there next. Raj shuffled down the stairs as quietly as he could and peeked around the hall corner. Violet wasn't in the cafe, so Raj jogged to the next set of stairs and slipped down them on tiptoe. This flight ended beside a scarlet-red cast-iron steam engine. The brass details gleamed in the dim light like a miner's safety lamp. How strange. It appeared to be well cared for and in perfect working order. Raj shifted his ring around and got a tiny flicker that the imp had passed through here, but it must have carried on. A weathered door at the back of the room creaked. That could be Violet, or the Fremlin. Raj crept to the edge of the engine to hide. He needed to set up an entrapment spell in case it was the Fremlin. The door creaked again, and a large lizard trotted out. Raj gripped the reassuringly solid steam engine tighter, just in case his legs gave out. What in the fluffin' heck was that? The creature unfurled golden wings and shook them like an umbrella, then sprinted up the stairs towards the cafe, leaving damp spots on the stair treads. The claws at the end of each toe scraped the wood as it ran by. It couldn't be a Fremlin prank or hallucination, but dragons were extinct. Sir George's grandfather had killed the last one more than 100 years ago, and the ruby ring should have blazed like the sun in the presence of that kind of magic. Raj pulled out his phone and clicked on the imp-detecting app. The number scrolled quickly, but it didn't come up with any conclusions. Whatever the creature was, it was big enough to be dangerous. Although it hadn't noticed him, Violet may not be so lucky. Raj trotted up the stairs and peered around the corner. The damp footprints faded to nothing on the carpet. The creature could have gone out the front, or back into the other side of the mill. Before he even took a step towards the shadowy hall that led to the back of the mill, Violet came out, shutting the plain door firmly behind her. "Did you find any cloth?" Raj turned towards the basement. What could he say? She must have heard or seen something. You've got rats, or something, living..." She smiled and waved at the front door. "Never mind. I'm sure you'll be needing to go now. I'm tired, and we can sort out those tables tomorrow." Raj hesitated. She didn't sound tired. She sounded very agitated. "Rats are quite dangerous for your health. I'd just like to..." "You need to go," She banged her walking stick on the floor to make her point. I'll see to the vermin. Raj couldn't think of a way to refuse. Not if he wanted to be allowed back in tomorrow. He moved towards the exit. I was just trying to help. Violet strode behind him, escorting him all the way to the front step. I'm fine. There's no vermin here, so don't you go calling any exterminators. You hear me? Fair enough, yes, if you're sure. The door shut, and the lock clicked before he even finished the word. If you've enjoyed this section, please like and subscribe. New chapters will be recorded weekly. Alternatively, check out the description for places to purchase the book.